The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been declared with only one agenda: the human problem. Admiral Rel Denning stood alone at the very center of the Grand Chamber, a single human surrounded by 300 alien species arranged like tiers of judgment. The chamber's crystalline ceiling reflected prismatic light across the hall, making her appear small, exposed, and already condemned. High Arbiter Zeloth, a towering, crystalline being whose faceted form seemed carved from living diamond, activated the central display. Ambassador Denning, he began with cold authority, humanity is charged with violating the Technological Advancement Accords. You have been developing restricted weaponry in secret. The penalty is expulsion from the galactic community and enforced quarantine of your entire star system. Denning did not flinch. We have developed weapons, she admitted calmly, but we have violated no law. We submitted 17 formal requests for defensive capabilities over 30 years. You denied every one. You insisted Earth was too primitive to manage advanced armaments and demanded we trust the Council for protection. Councillor Piran, her feathers raised in fury, screeched, "Protection we have provided. Earth has not faced danger since joining the Alliance." Denning's reply was quiet, controlled, devastating. You protected us from threats you were aware of. 3 incursions into our system occurred over the last decade, none detected by your surveillance. We eliminated all 3, alone, because you barred us from defending ourselves. Shouting erupted. Accusations. Denial. Outrage. Alien voices overlapped in a storm of indignation. Meanwhile, on Earth, Colonel Ezekiel Rains watched the broadcast with clenched fists. He turned to General Siobhan Corgan and muttered, "They will sanction us. Deploy fleets. 60,000 ships versus our 700, that's suicide." Corgan shook her head. "Not 700, Colonel. That's simply what they could detect." Her voice hardened into iron. "We built something they do not have language for yet." Back in the chamber, Zeloth leaned closer, jagged light glinting across his crystalline body. "You will surrender your vessels for disarmament. You have 24 hours, or face annihilation." Denning's posture remained perfectly composed. "No." The word struck the chamber like a detonation. Chaos rose again, angry, shocked, confused voices clashing. But Denning raised her chin. "Before you dispatch fleets, allow me to show you something. Dr. Omari Blackwood, if you would." A shimmering holoform appeared beside her. The aging scientist bowed slightly. 30 years ago, the Council denied Earth the right to self-defense. You feared humanity's unpredictability, and you were right to fear it. He smiled in a way that made hardened warriors shift uncomfortably. You monitored every ordinary form of progress. So we stopped using ordinary forms. Instead, we developed what you could never imagine. He entered a command. Space changed. The Grand Chamber fell utterly silent as Blackwood's command executed. At first, nothing appeared on the projection, only the view of a remote sector at the edge of the Sol system. It looked empty, a void of cold starlight and gravitational quiet. Confusion rippled through the delegates, then space itself lit up with impossible geometry. Like shadows forced into form, 300 warships materialized from literal nothingness. Not cloaked. Not concealed. They had not existed in visible dimensions until that moment. Their surfaces shimmered with a darkness deeper than space, a lattice of dark matter wrapped in extra-dimensional armor. Weapons hummed along their hulls, strange cannons that bent light wrong, implying physics beyond comprehension. Counselors who had mocked humanity moments earlier stood frozen in horrified awe. Zeloth's crystalline body flickered. "This is not possible. Dark matter cannot be shaped. It cannot be confined." His voice cracked, alien fear trembling inside it. "Not by your methods," Blackwood agreed. "But humans innovate best when denied. So we stopped chasing the science the Council allows and began pursuing the science it cannot detect." His fingers moved and schematics filled the air, mathematics that caused multiple Council members to recoil as if struck. Equations representing interdimensional curvature manipulation, negative mass anchor fields, and quantum phase slipstream drives scrolled by in dizzying complexity. "These vessels do not exist fully in your space," Blackwood continued. "They flicker between dimensional layers. No sensor can track what refuses to remain entirely real." "How many?" whispered Piran, feathers now quivering in terror, not indignation. "The 300 you see now," Blackwood said, "represent one battle group. We have 50 such groups." The chamber gasped. 15,000 ships, he clarified, all invisible to every detection system your civilizations possess. all armed with weapons that bypass your defenses entirely. Panic crept into the air like a contagion. The power dynamic that had defined the galaxy for centuries had just been shattered, effortlessly, by a species considered too primitive to be trusted with advanced tools. Admiral Denning stepped forward again, reclaiming their attention with steady calm. Let us be clear, our hand was forced. The Council's distrust did not prevent human progress, it redirected it. You made us hide, and in hiding, we grew unchallenged. Zeloth attempted to recover some semblance of authority. You expect us to believe you did this out of necessity? That this abomination of power, is defense? Denning met his crystalline gaze. If we meant conquest, your fleet would already be gone. We have no desire to rule. Only to ensure we are never again expected to beg for our own survival. The room trembled, not from physical force but from the unmistakable realization. Humanity had evolved into a superpower right under their noses. And now every species present knew. A hidden giant had awakened. The weight of silence crushed the chamber. 300 species confronted not just a fleet, but the terrifying realization that humanity had lied successfully for 30 years right under the Council's supervision. Transparency shattered. Assumptions crumbled. Fear became law. Zeloth, the ever-confident arbiter, now stood rigid, fracture lines of stress flickering across his crystalline frame. Humanity, you must surrender these vessels for inspection. They are a destabilizing threat to every civilization present. Forcing us to disarm the only shield we possess? Denning replied, voice sharp enough to cut steel. We did not build these ships to frighten the galaxy. We built them because the galaxy refused to protect us. A murmur traveled the chamber. The implication was chilling. How many threats? Asked a voice from the aquatic sphere near the council dais. A Diplorian delegate, a species known for measured logic, leaned forward. 3, Denning answered, gaze unwavering. 3 hostile attempts to enter Sol territory. None detected by your monitoring systems. All neutralized by our invisible fleet. The Council's negligence, Blackwood added, nearly cost humanity its existence. We ensured it would not happen again. Delegates exchanged frantic glances. Fear had become respect, and respect was quickly evolving into dependence. Because in that moment, one truth suffocated every other thought. If humanity withdrew, the galaxy would lose its strongest hidden wall. Zeloth steadied himself. Authority demanded he speak, even as certainty abandoned him. The Council will deliberate. The chamber emptied into dozens of private deliberation chambers, voices raised in panic, arguments hissing in languages beyond sound. For the first time, the elder species feared not humanity's violence, but humanity's initiative. On Earth, Colonel Rains paced before the tactical screens in the darkened command hub. They have 60,000 ships. If they choose war. General Corgan cut him off. Numbers are meaningless when the enemy can't be seen. Let the Council worry about what we are capable of. Our job is to ensure they never have to find out the hard way. 15,000 ships, and that was merely what they revealed. The true number? Classified even for most humans. Because Earth had learned a principle older than civilization. Never show all of your claws at once. 3 hours later, the Council reconvened. The delegates filed and subdued, predators humbled by prey they failed to understand. Zeloth spoke, voice tired and brittle. The Council has reached a new decision. The sanctions vote is suspended. Earth will be granted complete military sovereignty. Full membership on the Security Council with veto authority. And he lowered his head, a gesture of submission unseen in centuries. We formally apologize. Denning nodded once. Controlled. Victorious, but not triumphant. We accept. And pledge these capabilities only to defense, ours and that of our allies. Every species exhaled as if saved from the brink. But the galaxy did not yet grasp the truth. Humanity had just become the silent superpower the universe would fear, and need, forever. The council chamber emptied in ripples of unease, leaving Admiral Denning alone with the knowledge that the galaxy had transformed in a single meeting. Humans, once ignored, belittled, denied, now stood among the most powerful species in existence. Back on Earth, the command hub pulsed with quiet victory. Dr. Blackwood leaned back from the console, exhaustion shadowing his expression but pride burning bright in his eyes. They never saw us coming, he said with a weary laugh. General Corgan crossed her arms. And they still haven't seen everything. Colonel Rains looked between them, brow raised. We're already fielding 15,000 dark matter ships. What else do we have? Blackwood gave a thin smile, one that conveyed both brilliance and danger. What we revealed today was the first generation, he explained. The stable prototypes. The versions I'm willing to let other species know exist. But the next class. He tapped a console and a new hologram rose, sleek, predatory silhouettes that bent light simply by existing. Let's just say, if the council fears us now, they are not ready for what comes next. Rains exhaled slowly. So we keep building. We always keep building, Corgan said. Never let your opponent believe they've seen your full hand. Denning entered via secure transmission, her image crisp above the table. The vote is overturned. They're terrified, but they're trying to hide it. That fear will turn into respect, if we handle this correctly. And if they decide fear should become preemptive action? Rains asked. Denning's eyes hardened. Then they will discover what true invisibility means. A quiet fell over the room as each officer considered the colossal implications. Humanity now hovered between two futures. Guardians of the galaxy, or the nightmare every species feared. On the Council's world, Zeloth stared at the now dark projection of the Sol system. His crystalline fingers trembled. We nearly pushed them into becoming monsters, he whispered. No, Counselor PRN corrected softly. We pushed them into becoming stronger than us. It is only their choice, not ours, that determines whether that strength will protect us, or end us. Fear, respect, dependence. The galaxy finally understood what Earth had always known. Underestimating humanity is the most dangerous mistake anyone can make. Weeks passed. Diplomacy resumed, but everything had changed. Council fleets adjusted their patrols to avoid accidental aggression. Treaties rewritten. Power dynamics shattered. Across the stars, messages echoed in hushed tones. Do not provoke Earth. They build in the dark. Humanity had not won through conquest or intimidation. They won through patience. Through hidden genius. Through a refusal to remain vulnerable. A species once dismissed as primitive was now the quiet apex of galactic strategy. And buried deep beneath the lunar surface, in sealed hangars where not even Earth's allies were allowed to look, the next 50,000 dark ships waited. Silent. Invisible. Ready. Because as long as threats existed in the universe, humans would never let the light shine on everything they built in the dark.